Yes, thank you so much for joining into another episode of your favorite program, The Money Minutes. I'm very excited to have Honorable MPP Mr. Deepak Anand with us today. Mr. Anand is a member of Provincial Parliament for Mississauga Malton. He is also a special advisor to the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. His priorities include youth empowerment, local employment, public housing, and community engagement. MPP Anand has a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and an MBA from York University Schulich School of Business. He's a passionate leader, a very caring father of two beautiful children, and a devoted husband to his loving wife, Aruna.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much, Seema. I want to start with this that you have been an incredible champion in whichever work, whenever you did, whether it was working in the financial industry or doing the community service. So we had multiple actions in the past, and kudos to you. You always excelled. You've been a mentor to many of the people in our group and the people we know in Quintus. So good to have you here. Thank you so much, and
Thank
thanks.
you. Much appreciated. So during COVID time, my first question to you, Mr. Anand, is how do you think COVID-19 has impacted our communities and especially our business owners, small business owners?
Well, I think COVID has impacted, especially in my lifetime, and many of the people I know in their lifetime. COVID has impacted in a big time to this point that we have two eras now. We call it before COVID and after COVID. There's going to be a new normal. There's going to be work from home. There's going to be more digitization of everything we do. Who would have thought there is going to be a courts which are going to be digital, parliament which is going to be digital? Who would have thought me and you having this interview
Online.
distant and on the digital? So the COVID has impacted in a big way. I call it as a reset. What COVID has done is put a reset. Many of us were trying, flying. Many of us were, running around, not spending much time with the family. Now look at it, because of COVID, we are actually spending a lot of time with the family. So I won't call it thank you to COVID. I will not say it to COVID because we did not call it. It happened. But when something happens, there's a silver lining. Not everything bad is going to happen, of course. So yeah, I call it as a reset button. That's what has happened. We are able to relax, we are able to sit back and see, and we are able to see what was right, what was wrong, and we are able to work around that. What COVID has done extremely bad is something which is the some of the sectors of the businesses. Again, when we talk about the businesses, not everybody is actually feeling the pain. Look at Amazon, look at Walmart, look at Costco, ask them. Look at all the IT guys, ask them. you know and again, it has hit some of the sectors of our economy. Hospitality is one of them. It has hit very hard. People who helped us to feel good are the people who are feeling the most pinch and the pain. So I think I would say COVID has affected each one of us, some in positive, some in negative, but I really feel my heart cries for those who are affected negatively, and those are the sectors we need to come forward and support them. Held them. They always held our hand. Now it is our turn to hold their hand. So
That's right. And some of these businesses I see, restaurants closing down.
yeah,
There are retail stores, there are barber shops. Smaller businesses are really hit hard.
event planners. There are a lot of businesses. I'll tell you. I mean, there's a huge list of those businesses. Photography studios. You know, so there are many businesses which are hidden, which are really required, but they're hidden
Mhm.
and hard as well. So yeah, absolutely.
So what's I'm talking about government research and planning and all the things that you're doing behind scenes for us. What do you see that the government is doing that's going to support these small business owners and bring them back as strong as they were?
Absolutely. One thing I always say is that if we look at especially you're in the financial industry, you always say this, the previous data we can learn a lot out of it. For an example, even if we take out the last 40 years, there's been three recessions. There was a recession in 1980, there was a recession in 1990, there was a recession in 2008. Each of these recessions lasted between 1 to 1.5 years. For example, the 1980 and 2008 lasted for a year, and the one in 1990 lasted for 1.5 years. And you all, if I was not here, but I hear a lot of horror stories of 1987, 88, when the interest rate was like 25, 30%. I don't know, again, I was not here, but I hear a lot of horror stories about those times as well. But look at it today. Are we back on our feet? Absolutely. So typically, if you look at the data, it usually takes about 3 to 4 years for us to come back. I mean, for example, 1980 it took 3 years, 1990 it took 4 years. And I want to be a little political here. In 2008, thanks to the Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, because of his stimulus package, because of his efforts, we were able to manage it in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, obvious question is, do you think the business owner would be able to come out of this loss? I would not say that those who have been impacted, they will be able to come out of what has lost. But what I can say is that there is a big hope, as we've done it in the past. We have fought it in the past. We have came out of it in the past, so we will come out of it this time also. Of course, the policies will matter more than ever. The actions will matter more than ever. And
Is there any policy or any support that you're looking forward to as a politician to put out there to Canadians, to Ontarians?
Absolutely. I mean, look at, let's subsect everybody. The first one is, let's talk about the consumers. For us, if you want more people going to the restaurant, you want more people going to the vacation, you want more people going to the hotels, we need to give them the confidence. We need to give them the confidence. One, it is safe. Two, they should have the will that they want to go out. Now, two things which we're trying to do is we're trying to support these businesses. As you know, there is a support program in place. There was a support program for providing them the PPE grants. There was a program to 90% of the expenses were, if you're a business, especially in the hospitality business, and you are in the zone which you were impacted most. Peel is one of those zones. Toronto is another zone. If you're part of Peel, you're part of Toronto, and 90% of your expenses will be, you can recover that from the government. So there is a program for that. The third program, which we actually just brought it in, which will be starting in a couple of days. So that's the third one, which is going to be happening effective this weekend, $10,000 to $20,000 given to the small businesses as a grant, not as a loan, which you don't have to return it. So these are some of the things which we do. So going back to consumers, this is one part. The second part is, as we talked about the stimulus package, and if you remember, Seema, in 2008, there was if you do maintenance at home, if you build your basement, you don't have to pay the GST, that program. So similar to that program, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have a travel tax credits. So once everything is normal, please do not leave your home right now. Stay safe, stay home. But once everything is going to be normal, a new normal, maybe not be normal, but new normal, whenever you're going to take a vacation, when you go out, 20% of that, out of $1,000 you spent, $200 is going to come back to you from the government. So in other words, put it this way, you can take those $200 and invest back into the family. You can take that and invest back into yourself, and help to promote and stimulus the tourism industry, restaurant industry, hospitality industry. So this is one thing which will be done for the consumers. Other than that, for the businesses, look, I mean, I always like that line when you go to any, when you travel by air, they always say one line, as you're about to leave, you had many choices, but you picked us. Thank you for that. For every businesses who are trying to look and invest, they have many choices. Where should they go? So as a province, we have to be competitive. We have to give you the reason to stay. Absolutely, you love Ontario, you love Ontarians, and you know there is we have a ample supply of fresh water, fresh air. We have ample supply of good land, but more than that, we want to make sure that there is a competitiveness for you to be here. So that's what the government has done, and that's what the government is planning to do as well. I mean, in terms of lowering the property tax, this is the first thing. Commercial property tax is lowering the commercial property tax because at the end of the day, it's going out of your bottom line. Um, Reducing other business expenses. That's another one. Reducing 30% premium on the WSIB, that was reduced, and approximately $4 billion was the saving overall for the businesses. Lowering the energy cost, as we all know, energy cost is very high in our province.
Absolutely.
You have all this reduction in the cost, but what do you do if you don't have a skilled worker? So the government is investing into the skilled workforce. So that's a policy which will help. And the final one I would always say is that, again, going back, if you have to start a new business, you you come to Ontario, if it takes 13, 14, 15 months to start a new business, you're losing patience, you're losing your competitiveness, you're losing your, money. So reducing the red tapeism is another one of the big things which your provincial government has worked very hard to reduce the unnecessary red tapeism. Again, I want to be very clear. Having rules in place is not a wrong thing, but having too many rules in place and not making a sense is not a right thing.
Right. Make it practical, make it fast, make it approachable, available to business owners. And in any economy, Deepak, if business owners are healthy, economy actually turns healthy with their help, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's something which we are actually investing into, and that's something when we put together is going to bring back that confidence. It is going to, we actually going to. I truly believe we're going to excel more. I mean, I look at Greater Toronto area simply. I always we time and again we talk about a global village. You know, you don't need to go anywhere to find a global village. We are a place. We have 165 nationalities, over 200 languages right here. You know, if you want to expand to Brazil, you don't have to go to Brazil. Come here. If you want to expand to China, you come here. We'll connect you with the people who are from that same community, who speak the same language, who have connections.
We can work
Yes.
with anybody. We can connect with the whole world. You touched, Deepak, you touched a little bit about on I'm not sure if you were talking about immigration policies of skilled worker, but do you think that's the answer, partly, to bring back that business groove, is to open up immigration policies and basically better train Canadians? Do you think the government is thinking of these two things, or there are other things that they're more focused on?
So, okay, so you bringing 2 points together. Let's first of all talk about it. When we're talking about a business perspective, what we really need is, in terms of business perspective, is the policies which will stimulate the consumption and which will stimulate the reason and the rationale for people to come and invest here. So these are the two things. And you briefly touched about and one of the requirement is to have a skilled workforce. If there is no people, there's no workforce. You have a business, you want to invest in, but who's going to work if you don't have a workers, right? So at 2035, there will be 5 million Canadians who are going to either retire or semi-retire. I mean, of course, as you know, because now more and more people are living a healthier, better life, and the science is better, the medical system is so good. Because of that, they're actually stretching their workability as well. But even if you consider at around 65 as the measurement, that by 2035, there will be around 5 million Canadians who are set to retire, which in other words means the ratio of people working to not working is 2 to 1. And a healthy ratio is about 4 to 1. So how do you do that? You can't magically produce more children of that age. So you need to have people coming in at a younger age, and that's the immigrants.
So there's something that I want to mention here. When you say people are living longer and there is signs of improvement and advancement, absolutely, but not necessarily healthier. You know, people are living 86, 90, 95, but we also see a flood of uh, in our long-term care home, right? What do you think of training programs? Because a lot of business owners are going to be out of job and they're
Right.
not going to have patience, they're not going to have time to wait, or even taking the government support for 10, 15, 20,000, we're not sure if they can survive, right? Are there policies or programs that government is looking at to retrain our business owners and to restart and support them financially?
Absolutely. So the again going back to, if you remember when I was talking about the word reset, what Corona has done, because all of a sudden we have more time, because we many of the things we are inhibited to do, we were prohibited to do many things, not going out and stuff. So we all of a sudden have some of our people who are into the industry, businesses have time. And so what we have seen, a lot of time is going towards retraining themselves, and many of them are retooling themselves as well. So there is a second career program where you can actually receive up to $28,000 for tuition fees and living
Absolutely. I
expenses.
mean, $28,000 would help a lot if they can get training again, look after their children for childcare and all. Um, is that program being looked at right now, or
Yes,
it's ready to be
yes.
launched?
No, no, it is this the program is already there. It's called second career program.
Okay.
Who is eligible? If you have been laid off in one of the sectors, which is hospitality, food services, retail, transportation, and those who's been impacted by the COVID-19, those industries, yes, you can apply. You have to book an appointment with the nearby employment services agencies. Those are the not-for-profit organizations. They'll be happy to support you through this
Very
program.
nice. You have given us so much information today, and I'm very pleased with all the disclosure and all the sharing that you have done. A lot of times we feel that the government is over there and we're here. We don't think that we're actually one. You know, your time in politics is basically devoted to how do we make an individual person, family's life better. So thank you for doing that. Now, one personal question I have for you, Mr. Anand, when do you find time for your family and your children? Because, you know, you have to be attending these programs, you have to be in meetings and traveling. How do you do that? How do you manage?
I think, Seema, you're talking to the wrong person. I think you should be talking to them. Maybe they will say he doesn't. Maybe they have that complaint. I absolutely agree with you. It is not an easy job when it comes to, because I always believe that I our job is like a performance athletes. You look at somebody who's very good at swimming, or somebody who's good at chess. So their age of performing is only 4, 8, or 12 years. It's not forever. So same is with us. I mean, we believe that once we get in, I mean, we get this opportunity or gift of God, I call it, so, to give back to the community, to work hard, to prove. And don't take me wrong. I mean, we enjoy it also because we get that celebritism. We get that benefit when you guys, when people take us to the stage, they give us a place to speak, and you know, give us that respect. And that gives us more for reason to invest more into the community, work harder into the community, because we're getting the direct benefit out of it. But at the end of the day, it's a job like a performance athletes. We know there is a end of this life. There is going to be 4 years or 8 years or 12 years, and there's going to be end to it.
You know what? I didn't think about that. I honestly did not. I saw you at every program, every gathering, and even now through Zoom and meetings. And this is a very good point that the time, the career time that you're allowed, 4 years, or may that be 8 years, you put yourself into that, of course, with your family's permission. And I see that you work as a family in your job. I see your children, I see your spouse very much involved. So I'm very pleased with that. I want to wish you lots of success. Keep doing what you're doing and keep taking care of our communities and business owners. And I want to wish everybody the best recovery from these losses. Anything you want to say, Deepak, in close?
I just want to say thank you. You know, a lot of people came out and did the food drives. You talking about this, Aruna, for an example, you talked about that. Has a program which is Feeling Healthy Mind. She's been able to serve over 50,000 or 55,000 meals.
Wow.
And she's not alone. She has a lot of volunteers who are supporting her. And there's many of these organizations, many of such examples are there where, you know, a lot of people came forward, meeting with the seniors, making sure the seniors are not isolated.
I think the tough times have brought us together as a community. And please do come back, to give us more updates. Thank you, Deepak.